G'day, slap dicks. I'm Benny Hoover from Cash Pro Australia, and this is Lawn Care Skull Sessions with my co-host, the beautiful bearded lawnsman.
Buska! Fuck, that started off inappropriately unprofessional.
Yeah, I just had an attitude swing.
Yeah, well, you just said, oh, fuck this, I'm not wearing a hat. I'm fucking done.
So,
that's cool with me. I'm feeling you.
Man, I've just had a crazy week, eh? Like, the school holidays is challenging.
Yeah.
I love the school holidays.
Yeah.
I haven't really been waking up till like 7:30.
Yeah.
And punching out orders, and then we go and do something with the kids. You guys have heard this before from the Christmas holidays. But I went away for a night to the sunny coast.
Kids or no kids?
No, family.
Yeah.
We worked all day. We didn't leave until 2. And the following day got back at 3.
Yeah.
So I really wasn't, like, I was only really gone for like a whole work day, and I spent the whole night working. But man, it's just crazy how just like, for someone like me who's just really, I don't want to say super organized, but like everything's very regular.
Yeah.
Man, it just like wigs me out, eh?
Yeah, all my shit's all fucked up still, so hopefully moving forward I can regulate some of that shit, but I'm not too worried. It'll all come together soon, but no, that's good you got away. You don't get away that often.
Well, I never get away.
We got a kid-free night tonight.
Yeah.
We're going to dinner down in Cleveland, down at a fucking nice little restaurant.
You know where I'm going, this suicide
bar.
Oh my God,
are we going to fucking see each
other? No, we're not. I'm going to a place called the Broadway Diner.
Oh, I think you mentioned this to me a couple of weeks ago.
And so we were supposed to go on Good Friday, and like we've rocked up and everything, and the bastards were closed. And they sent us an email booking confirmation the day before. So they just cooped the whole system. Anyway,
scumbags.
This place, it's at South Bank, and you like eat and they all like sing to you and shit. Like it's like a sort of like a play while so I walked past there one night and I was like, what's going on in here? And I was like, hell yeah, and they didn't have a table. But
is it like cabaret?
No, kids are coming, brother.
Oh, fair enough. Unfortunate.
But speaking of kids,
yeah.
Now we all know how they say the most darnest things, right?
Okay, here we go.
How's my girls, eh? I'm just sitting out the back chilling, and twins come up to me and they're walking like all funny, eh? And they're like, give us your shoes, you dog, or we'll stomp you. Now, I'm not an Eshe, but I've got Eshe qualities.
Yeah.
And it just fucking cracked me up.
Fucking wearing Nautica under your fucking bad workwear.
Nah.
Yeah, that's pretty good. I think
fucking hilarious though.
On Easter, I think it was Mira or Macy got me with the old, or was it Nelly? No, it was Nelly when just after she'd been upset, she come around the corner. Give us your shoes, you dog. Like,
she's hilarious because she's got no idea what she's talking about.
Yeah, fair enough. Oh man, yeah, it's been wild. Poor little Archie, his little tumour came back. We had to go and get it fried yesterday with some silver nitrate. They look like big matchsticks, and you dip them in water. And I wasn't confident to do it, and neither was Lou, so we had to take him to the doctor to get it done. You dip them with water and you fucking dab it on, and it's supposed to like just basically cauterize shit, and it fucking leaves a big black mark, and it looks like he's got this massive beauty spot now. I was like,
and is that the same process to like freeze off warts?
Or no? I'm not sure. It's not a freeze. It's actually like a chemical reaction, because when silver nitrate mixes with oxygen and water, I think it causes a chemical reaction on the skin. So it's supposed to take away the actual problem part, but it's actually overlapped onto some good skin. So Lou's panicking a bit because on some, obviously we jump on Google Doctor, and Google Doctor's like, it could leave a lasting tainted colour on the skin. And I'm like, oh shit, because it's like black. So well, we'll see. Time will tell.
Yep.
So what else has been happening for Bernie?
Look, not that much really. Work is steady. We've had our first kind of like cool week in Brizzy,
cool. Where
right now.
Yeah, they are.
Where like apparently we got down to like 16 degrees, which, you know, people are probably tripping. They're like, that's not that cold, but mate, I'll put a hoodie on straight up in that weather.
Nice. That's fucking... Hoodie weather is my kind of weather. I can hide my rolls.
Yeah. I had jeans on this morning and didn't last long.
Yeah, no.
So
it's still hot in the sun, but it is probably the nicest couple of days that, you know, well, this is good weather for me because I'm a little bit bigger, get a little bit sweaty, and now, perfect weather. Can do things and not sweat.
I want to put a couple of things out there. Number one, the Bearded Lawnsman is headed to Melbourne. Is that a secret?
Yep. I'll cut this out.
It's actually not a secret though. Like everyone knows.
Yeah, I know.
All right, so we'll cut that out.
Yeah, we'll cut. Maybe we'll see. We'll see. Who knows?
So I won't talk any more about it, right?
Yeah, talk about it.
Okay.
So Dale's got an open day down at. I don't even know which suburb.
I'm trying to build the crowd for it.
Okay, well, fair enough. Let's just blow it out.
You can tell this is freestyle.
Yeah, oh, man. So Dale Pakenham, fucking good little chappy down there from Urban Turf. He's down there now. He just messaged me last night and said there's fucking door prizes going up from Milwaukee, which is awesome, and they've also got a raffle going from Milwaukee. So that's going to be good. I think it's like fucking $5 a ticket or 3 for $10, something like that. It'll bring you cash. I'll be there rapping and chatting with some people, you know, doing what I do. Might suck a few dicks.
Rob Shearer.
Yeah, might give out a few hand jobs on the go.
Now, I was going to head down with Vic, right?
Yeah.
But then I was like, I don't think I'm going to. So I'm not going. I'm not going.
Dude!
It's not a diss, I'm just saying.
Dude!
It's just, so anyway, the other thing is that on the 22nd of next month, which is May, there is a Jim's Day in Brisbane, and our local dealer's going to be there. Now, the Bearded Lawnsman is also going to that.
Oh, me too.
Along with myself from Catch Pro, and we're hoping to have a trailer with all the goodies on it.
Yep.
Now, FYI, what's a little bit funny about this is that the local dealer is a big Gravelly and Wright dealer.
And Walker.
He's a Walker dealer. He's not like a huge Walker dealer. Anyway, he's got Ferris as well.
Yeah.
We absolutely love the shop, Southside Mower Centre.
It's like the nice big shop that's around us. We don't really have many big shops. His is a big shop.
Yeah, his is a big shop, and he does a lot. He does a shitload of business and really looks after his contractors.
He does, yeah.
He's going to be there. But what's funny about it is because the Bearded Lawnsman's going to be there with all of his goodies, we're just going to have a shitload of skags on these weeks. So if you're a Jim's bloke...
or Sheila.
Oh, yeah, Sheila's too.
Make sure you get all inclusive.
Get on down. And we might post something on the Catch Pro page.
Ben, you should be a barista. Today's the first time I haven't brought a coffee in forever. Ben said, do you want me to make you one? And he's done such a top job. It's fucking fantastic. Good on
Thank you.
Ben.
Yeah, a little bit nervous about the calcium stones later on in life.
Oh.
I punch at least a litre of milk a day.
It's so good, isn't it?
Tis.
I get excited. We just got our new coffee pods delivered to our house. Fuck, who doesn't live on coffee these days? Yeah. If it's not coffee, it's crack. If it's not crack, it's beers. If it's not beers, it's fucking some other vice. You know you've got one.
So just quickly before we get rolling on today's episode, make sure to jump onto Bad Workwear website.
Yep.
It's getting cooler in lots of markets, and that's when it's awesome to start buying new work gear. Heaps of different hoodie options, rain defend, and awesome jackets. They got some cool funnies on there too. Also, don't forget to get amongst the Bad Saviour pants. They do have a new type of pant coming out which is going to be some sort of moisture wicking pant.
And their trackies are all out too?
Yeah, I got a pair of the tracky dacks.
You like them?
They're alright. They're made out of the rain defend material.
Oh, so they're water resistant?
Well, maybe water resistant, which helps when I, piss myself.
It just stays in the pant.
But
just rolls out the cuff at the bottom.
When I wear a tracky dack, I prefer a little bit more warmth and comfort in there.
Is there anything better than wearing tracky dacks when it's cold with no undies?
So I know we've all spoken.
The smile on your face is like,
yeah, but I don't do it around my house because my girls just immediately, like, it's just awkward as fuck for me, eh? Oh. Like Nelly would just come up and just grab it. Oh. The twins wouldn't grab it anymore.
What the fuck is that, man?
But Nelly would just run up and grab it. Oh. I don't want to turn Vicky on too much.
Oh, I'm definitely just walking around like with all the swagger. But I got to find like really loose ones. So when I walk, I just get an extra stride. Okay. Like extra wide stride, so it swings like a bell.
I know. Now, I know we're going long on tracky dacks here, but I actually wear, like, not, like, gangster ones, like, proper metro ones that are, like, really...
Oh, the tight ones?
Yeah, like, they're really tight around... They're sort of, like, really loose around the crotch, but, like, they go straight into the pins.
Most metro pants are.
Whereas when Rusty was living with me a couple of years ago, he was, like... proper gangster, like he was sagging.
Wait, do you have any proper like flanny pajamas?
No.
I've got the fucking meanest set of flanny pajamas. It's like proper flannelette, top to bottom, button up. I need a hat to go with them.
So what my issue is that I'm usually down in my office until about 9 o'clock. And then I'll have a shower.
Oh, yeah.
And I am a TV bed watcher. Oh, so I don't really hang out in my lounge room. I'll put a game on and maybe hang out after dinner for a little bit if I don't go back to work.
Yeah.
But I can't stand being in my bed with, like, clothes on. Yeah. Like undies or, a pair of shorts or something. Yeah. But, I just... Yeah.
That's so... Yeah, no, I get you. Like,
Whereas Vicky's got some, like, real...
Like proper pajamas.
No. She's got mum pajamas too, but she puts on some things and I'm just like, damn girl.
I got some slutty shorts because for a while there I just loved like real big stuff, so I'd get like 3 extra sizes and I'd just be sitting there and I wouldn't even notice and lose like, fuck, one of your nuts is hanging out, put it away. I'm just like, look down and just the bag's just leaking out of the side. Like, oh god, I'm getting so old. That's just something that happens, I guess, to everyone.
Hope we have a good download week this week because...
Yeah, what happened last week, everyone? We actually had a topic.
So our analytics were not great last week. It looked like there was about 300 people who just couldn't be fucked listening to us.
What happened? You get a long weekend, no one wants to listen.
Yeah, I haven't checked actually back, but...
they're probably all listening now.
But we do have to apologise. The Bearded Lawnsman cooked our YouTube video.
Well, the video was actually corrupted, so I've had to go back. I'm going to have to redo the whole thing again. So not the actual video, but I'm going to have to cut and polish it up again and repost it. So they'll probably get posted together. But the audio one went out, and that's where most of our listeners come from. We would like to know, I don't know if you want to leave a review and let us know where you actually watch it, because that'll help us. We can see it, but like if there's legitimate people who watch it every week, it'd be really nice to know. I know Michael Carroll's on there.
Yeah, what I'd love to know is the amount of crossover audience we have.
Yeah.
So obviously lots of people listening to us when they're out at work on the tools. Maybe sometimes if they see something or hear something that makes them lol, they'll go back to YouTube and see that moment. But then we also have like a few hardcore dedicated viewers.
Yeah.
They just watch the show and they don't download it. But it'd be awesome to see what the divide is, because we did consider pulling the pin on YouTube, only because I'm a little bit worried about my YouTube channel from a business perspective.
It's a little bit...
It's a double-edged sword. Yeah. It gets us over sometimes, and others probably look at it and go like, oh man.
At least they're all in a folder to one side. They're not like in the list. I haven't actually jumped on and had a proper look. Shit.
Anyways, contractors.
Yeah, yo.
today we're going to be talking about inflation, rates rises, the cost of living, and price increases. Now, the bearded lawnsman and myself are probably not really qualified to be chatting about these topics.
I don't deal with any of the money at home. I do hear when things are not going our way. In regards to all of these things, cost of living and such, but
what we sort of really want to put out there, obviously it's only a general discussion. I think, people like Aussie Lawn Stars, Gary Ashton, and other notable figures like Luke Smith are much more qualified to be chatting about these topics for real business coaching, information. But I mean, these topics, they relate to anyone in business.
Yeah.
And we are going to just keep it to business. Like if you're an employee and you do listen, a lot of this stuff's probably not really going to marry into your situation. But inflation is across the board, whether you're bloody
100%.
Self-employed or not.
Can we kick it off on price increases? Because that's a huge thing, I think, at the moment. Because if people have been putting off price rises in their business for forever, now is the time to do it, because that CPI, like the cost of living increase or whatever, is it CPI? CIP? CPI. Fucking hell. I know the acronyms. You know what I mean. Anyway.
We rapping now?
Yeah. So that's at 7.8%. So if you take your your jobs and you raise them by 7.8%, that will bring those jobs in line with like the government's ideal, current, inflation rate. So right now is a really good time, because last year it was 1.8% or something. So that gives you a really good baseline to actually go to your customers and say, look, this is what the CPI is. The cost of living have gone up. 7.8% on some jobs is going to turn those into really creamy jobs, because you do them anyway. May as well get the most out of them.
And there will be a drawback too. Like you'll potentially lose some clients, but I do think if you're able to get the prices that you want up, and you lose a couple, you're probably generating a little bit more turnover for doing less work.
Yeah, and I think especially with commercial customers, body corps, all that, like if you're up for a renegotiation or whatever, or you think you've been there long enough to renegotiate, or you've underquoted, now's the time to do it.
Yeah, and I also think, in regards to price increases, everyone knows how I feel about it, right?
Yeah.
I've said it a million times. I don't believe in the theory that everyone should be charging X amount and let's lift, if we all lift it, then all the ships rise. I don't really believe, I mean, like I said, I don't know how comfortable these people would be with knowing that a cowboy is charging the same price as a business that's carrying $100K worth of equipment, and has structures and software in place and etc.
And paying, multiple employees for, supporting their families as well.
And I mean, look, there's a double-edged sword to that as well. I think if you've got top-notch employees, yes, you can charge top dollar. But that's something that's always going to be snickered at as well. Like if you've got, like a 19-year-old bloody fresh in the work industry who, and people, don't even get tripping if, in terms of discrimination to, say 19-year-olds. I'm going to be flat out when I say it. Most people under 25 are pretty fucking useless. And I don't have a problem saying it.
All of my workers are under 25, except for Rusty.
Whatever, and they've all got their issues, don't they?
Well, except for one. Oh, wait, he just turned 26.
Look, I'm not here to bullshit. And I'm not saying... It doesn't mean that they're bad people, but their priorities are completely different. And I was exactly the same.
Yeah, so was I. Yeah.
My priorities were just completely different. I've worked for some contractors throughout my time owning businesses, and it was never the same.
Yeah.
If there was something I couldn't get on a hedge, I was like, well, fuck this, man. It's not even my problem.
I think some people at that age don't, like, some people naturally have drive from the moment they start school. They just have a drive to be successful. But I think when we're talking about, like, just the average Joe, they will be like just happy just to cruise through, and then when something happens, like they might find someone like a partner, or they have surprise baby, then they need to fucking be like, oh, time to put the money where, or what is it? Put your mouth where your money is. Put your money where your mouth is. I don't know, and just fucking hook in.
The money's down my pants, baby.
Oh fuck. Lucky mouth.
Yeah, I mean, look, my comments might have been a little controversial, but really the point of where I'm getting at is that if you're going to be charging top dollar to send your workers out, then I think they need to be top dollar workers.
Yeah.
Just quickly, a little sidebar. We got a Sparky in to wire in some downlights.
Oh, yeah.
Now, I don't really know what the going rates for Sparkies are. They were here for about two hours. They did have to buy some materials, just some conduit and little transformer things. But I got a bill for $850. Now, that was 2 guys for 2 hours. And it's fucking outrageous. It's bullshit. It is bullshit. There's no, parts breakdown, so I'm not sure, how much materials cost or anything like that. And, we just paid the invoice. But I'm telling you now, I'll never call that company again.
Yeah.
Like,
we've had a similar experience.
I'll never call that company again. And if anyone ever asks me, hey, do you have a Sparky? Honestly, my first words are going to be, look, I don't really have anyone, but don't use them.
Yeah.
Because it's a fucking rip-off.
And
I don't want to see lawn mowing businesses making that same mistake.
Yeah.
It's the biggest thing. Is sometimes you have a mad win and you can just charge through the roof and it's fantastic. But the downside to it is that when that goes south, or if it, something happens, you're really damaging your reputation.
Yeah. And I had a similar story, but it's a bit of an opposite. I was surprised. I got some servicing done, and I was speaking, just having a good chat to the dude behind the counter. He's like, yeah, I'm like, the boss has gone through, he's given us all pay rises, and I was like, oh, nice one. And he just was so forward with the information. He's like, yeah, the boys have just gone on 32 an hour, and he's given me a car. And I'm like, whoa, that's, like, you're a qualified mechanic. I thought you'd be on a little bit more than that. But then it clicks over, and like, all these dudes that really have to do is rock up to work and do their thing and go home. They get the holidays, they get the super, they get all that stuff. But realistically, it's hard. It'd be hard to justify doing a trade if you're not like a Sparky. Like we've had the same situation with the Sparky, where we got one air conditioner that we bought, put in, and another extra PowerPoint put in, and it was like a fucking $1,300 invoice.
Yeah.
And I was like, what? Like, The Apprentice took 5 hours to do the fucking one PowerPoint.
Yeah.
And that's where the money got chewed up. It cost like $500. I'm like, how? But
now
that goes insane. Like, that guy was inexperienced, and they're still charging top dollar, and I'll never fucking use them again.
Now, just, look, it is true, pal. To switch gears a little bit, it popped up on my Instagram, and it may even popped up on yours. I believe
my
you already knew about it.
Lou sent it to me, yeah.
Vicky actually saw it as well, but there was like a little reel on there, a video, and it was apparently in the late 60s or early 70s.
1967.
And it was showing a bunch of people coming out of a land auction somewhere in Canberra.
Yeah.
And they were discussing what they bought a piece of land for. And it was amazing that for 1 rood of land...
And I still, until I got here, I didn't know what a rood was.
So a rood I only learnt it in the comments. A rood is a quarter of an acre.
Okay.
Roughly 39 perches.
Yep. Right.
Anyway, this one bloke, he secured one rood of land for $3,100. Now, I was reading through the comments. The video itself wasn't like that exciting or anything. I mean, it was cool to see. But it was in the comments was what was interesting because, people were saying that, roughly back then, the average wage was like, say, $7,000 a year. And they were able to buy a block of land for half a year's wages. And there were so many old fogies in the comments saying like, you generation of, pieces of crap, get off your ass, get out and do something, rada. We had it tough back then, and they obviously did. But, with land prices these days, now they're saying that the average income is around $100,000.
Now, I don't know fucking where that's from, because, this was going back like 7 or 8 years ago, so it might be more now, but, I mean, after tax, I was nowhere near $100,000.
No, I think they have, tax included. That's what they say average wage is, which is probably take home 75 or something.
Something like that.
But, theoretically, if you have a look around in, most major cities, you're really not getting a block of land for under $500.
Yeah, even all the way out, I'm quite far away from the city. I'm 45 minutes away from you, and you're 25, 30 minutes to the city.
We're 15, but don't fucking knock me, eh?
Whatever. Anyway.
5 minutes from the bay.
Yeah, fucking whatever. I can see straight from my house. Fuck you. Anyway, they're splitting 800 square metre blocks, and you can have a 400 square metre block for fucking $500,000-$600,000.
Yeah, so you're looking at, maybe to get a piece of land in today's world, you're looking at 5 or 6 years' wages.
Yeah. And that's just land.
Which is very tough, yeah. And you can't build a house for probably, you might be able to build one for $250 now.
If you can find builders.
So it look, to me, the whole thing is just amazing how, in every era, there was always an uproar.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? In every era, there was always an uproar. Oh, how the fuck are we going to live?
Yeah.
And look, poverty exists and homelessness exists. I think it always has. I do think there's always, that element of, okay, that person might be poor, but, are they a drug addict? Are they, the gambling addict?
Yeah, I think mental health has got a massive role to play in homelessness in Australia, and every country, I guess. So, but yeah, some people put themselves on the street through their bad habits, but some people are there because they get lost in the system. But I don't know, man. It's crazy.
So what I'm really getting at, because everyone's probably listening and they're like, Ben, what the fuck are you rambling about? What I'm rambling about is that there has been a lot of conversation about recession. Interest rates are rising. Are people going to be paying for lawn mowing? And I just wanted to calm everyone down. Now, I'm not a pro, but I wanted to calm everyone down and just say, Australia as a nation and the lawn care industry, we have all been through so much more than this.
Yeah.
I do think we will be okay. People are still spending money regardless of inflation and interest rates rises. There will always be a need to cut grass in Australia.
Yep.
There will always be a need for gardening. And a lot of the rates rises are probably only, massively impacting people who have bought houses in the last 5 years. Now, that does include us.
Yeah, it does.
Along with many others. But, Australia has more body corporate and unit complexes than ever before.
Yeah.
And no matter what, let's say even if the prices are not, I believe that they'll be paying what it costs, no matter what.
Yeah.
But they all need that service.
That's 100%. And, you know, these people still need to go out and make money for the rest of their... Like, if they can justify it, you know, no one's going to spend fucking an hour. Look, I mean, a homeowner, what takes us as professionals, you know, half an hour, could take them an hour and a half. Like, they're not going to sacrifice that time. Like, that's the main reason why so many high-profile people have all these nice houses, but they have so many people taking care of everything else because their time is so much more valuable to them than, you know, investing it in their yard or cleaning their house and things like that. So
and realistically, I do think even if you just look at the last 5 or 10 year period, you know, most markets in Australia went through terrible drought. Terrible drought. And yes, some businesses went down.
Yeah.
But other businesses prospered during this time. Then we went through, you know, all of these hellacious fires followed by flooding. The wet weather that Australia had experienced, you know, in the last couple of year period was almost as detrimental as the drought was. Now, I was on the tail end of coming out of Greenscape Solutions, but the Greenscape Solutions in the drought, really, our business wasn't affected very much because we had all contracted villages and the price stayed the same. Now, when we started experiencing all the horrible weather, you know, most of the time we just worked in it.
Yeah.
And we didn't earn any less, but holy moly, we worked through some pretty shitty conditions. And from a business standpoint, none of our work looked very good.
Yeah.
You know, and there was a lot of added stress from people like, hey, there's just weeds everywhere, there's, you know, all this stuff that you really couldn't do much about. So
I think COVID, if you survive COVID, then you can survive this inflation. I think COVID really...
put Queensland aside.
Yeah, Queensland.
Queensland aside, I'm not sure what happened in other markets, but Queensland was just like, fucking hey, just do whatever, eh?
Well, so many people were home. Everyone had a bunch of cash. Like, we were, you know, and we weren't forced to stay at home. We still did our villages. We still did our private jobs. We didn't get stopped at all, which was fantastic for Queensland. But the rest of the country that got locked down for months and months and months and couldn't work. If you made it through that, you can make it through anything, because that would have been a very hard time.
Do you remember King of Slapdick's video? If you can't survive on the paycheck that the government's going to give you during COVID, then you are running a failed business. If you can't get the $700 a week and make it work, you're a failure. What a fucking
$700 a week. That would barely cover. Like, it wouldn't even cover my mortgage these days.
Well, it ain't touching my mortgage. But I don't want this episode to be in comparison of that idiotic comment.
Yeah.
This is supposed to be an uplifting, inspirational episode to say that even though this is what we are facing right now, we can make it through.
Yeah.
There might be some sacrifices. You might have to change a little bit of your business structure.
Work outside the box.
But I see a lot of people tripping. Lots of people are thinking of selling up.
Oh, I wouldn't ever dream of selling. But to be honest, as soon as the cool weather hit, I was like, I don't know, it happens every year, even though it shouldn't. I get a little bit fucking jittery. I'm like, ugh.
And look, it's. I think it's natural as a business owner.
Yeah.
With Catch Pro, all the time, I'll be. Sometimes it wakes me up at night, thinking like I don't make my money with my hands anymore.
Yeah.
If there was ever a period, when I was running Greenscape Solutions, where I was like, man, I need to do something. For me, it was just so natural to immediately start networking, reaching out to body corp managers, property managers, doing letterbox drops. I could do all those things.
I just sent a letter to Lou. I'm like, this is our letter. Let's get it out to all the body corporate managers. I go into a panic mode, and I'm sure a lot of other guys can relate, because we have a perfect run. Summers, we never have any downtime. we always have mulch jobs during winter, and I know this. My brain knows this. I have so much work I could do, but for some reason, the cool weather just gets me all fucking,
Yeah. So in your business, BJ, do you have a set amount of turnover? I'm not talking about anything else except for turnover, and you don't need to state the amount. Do you have a certain amount of turnover, whether it's say $3,000, $5,000, $10,000, that you say like
a weekly one?
Yeah, weekly amount of turnover.
We have a weekly one.
And how far in advance do you book? Like, because I know for me, I was always working probably about 4 weeks in advance, and I'd always look. I was an old school guy with a diary.
Yeah.
Have all the jobs written down, and I'd be like, okay, we're fucking good this week. The following week after that, okay, we probably need to make in a bit here. Following week after that, oh look, we got this one in with everything we did that week, so we're actually up a little bit here.
Yeah.
Is that obviously you work like different, but how far ahead are you working?
Well, some of my business is locked in annually, and the schedule does not change. So when we come to winter, I'll probably do a walkthrough with the boys, and we'll pick out extra things to do because the other maintenance just goes away for a little while. But realistically, I'm maybe 2 weeks ahead.
Yeah, okay. That's because 2 weeks is enough.
I think because lots of things change for me, like on and off. Like we'll get extras pop up at the villages now that we're allowed to do them, and those little things, like I'll slot them in here and there, and then I'll go and do some easier ones. And but yeah, about 2 weeks, and I like that because then there's some wiggle room. Like if I'm booked up 4 weeks, then not a lot of people are going to wait if something really good comes up. So if I'm 2 weeks, I can be like, look, I've got 2 weeks, I'm booked 2 weeks in advance. But that third week, I can slot you in.
Yeah, if it was like, I mean, I was the same, but if it was, and I wouldn't entertain any residential property anyway, but if it was like a factory, industrial factory or a 5 acre mow or something, I would literally, like even if I said we had no wiggle room,
I would find it.
Yeah, we would find it, and especially like when I had a worker like Russ, you know what I mean. Like it was, like he's got a ton of wiggle room.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Like he'll work till it's pretty much dark.
Yeah, well the boys are fantastic. Like
and he would go out on a Sunday.
Yeah, my 2 road guys are awesome. Like one of them's asked for Saturday work, so I've been endeavouring to try and pick up maybe 2 kindies that he can go and knock out and do like $600 worth of work on a Saturday, and he can take his share. And yeah, just something like, I don't know, the fact that they want extra work is like, oh, okay, maybe there's opportunity here and we can make a little bit extra coin.
Yeah. Now in regards to these conversations and my actual current situation, I know all I'm doing is, I mean, and we're still experiencing growth.
Yeah.
Some months are steady, but we're still experiencing growth. I know my motto is new products.
Yeah.
New products, because new products are always drawing new and old eyeballs to the website.
Yeah.
And as I've said, a lot of the times, not everything that Catch Pro offers is for everyone, but there is something for everyone.
Yeah.
So there was, going back to the comment that was made on my robot post about auto mowers making Catch Pro redundant. I had to lol at that comment because, people are always going to be using whippersnippers.
Yeah, that's it.
They're always going to, potentially, need or want a whipper gripper or a trimmer head, whatever the case may be.
Catch Pro was just where it started.
Catch Pro is just where it started, yeah. So,
you going to get on the auto mower blade market?
No. No. I'm still yet to figure out where I am with it. In all honesty, I understand how it fits in a lot of places, but I just don't think it's a threat to the contractor market. You know, have you ever seen one of these things run over a fucking sturge?
But I think I might YouTube that when I get home.
Man, that is a sturgeon bukkake for the ages.
Imagine having to wash the fucking thing.
It just makes a heck. Have you ever seen a robot vacuum hit a cat shit?
No.
It's like, you gotta fucking move out of that house, man. Like, it just sprays the joint.
Fuck.
So I think there's a lot of, you know, I where I see them fitting in is like, you know, when they build those estates and every house fucking looks the same. They all have 30 square meters of grass out the back, and you know, they don't have side access, so you can't get a mower in and out.
Yeah.
I think that's where the robot.
I think so. Yeah.
I think that's a perfect situation.
Imagine you'd have like 25 in a 25 block of units and have 25 set up in there.
Absolutely, and like I said, I don't think that's really dipping into any normal contractor's market.
Yeah.
So you know, I'll put a full stop there and say I don't know where I'm at with that concept.
Yeah. I think it has its place, but it's not with me.
We'll see. I mean, look, I would actually love to set one up at my place to see how it goes.
Even on the front patch out there, we can see that'd be nothing.
I know. I'd like to set it up out the back. I've got 1,200 square meters of just a fucking square patch, which is huge. I'd love to see how it works, but you know, I've got 2 labs running around.
I've seen the fucking chickens that your labs pull up. Imagine the fucking auto mower.
In between them, they do like, I think it's like 7 to 10 shits
a day.
Not each. That's what I would collect. So and I'm fucking onto it. I do it every day.
Fuck, that's a lot of shitting.
So yeah, you know.
Fair enough.
It's a tricky sitch.
Now, like you said earlier, we both have just bought in like the last year sort of thing. We were lucky enough to be locked in. Are you locked in with your rates and
no? So
interest rates?
you know, when we bought, we really scrambled.
Yeah.
We were just happy to get into the market and own our. It wasn't really our first home. I had an investment property when I was like 20.
Yeah.
That I don't count as, you know, I only bought a percentage of a house that I lived in with my parents. So, and cashed out of that at some point. So I don't consider it that my first entry to the market.
Yeah,
but this is our first family home that we were able to purchase. 50% of the house is dedicated to Catch Pro.
Okay.
So, to answer your question, I was just like, man, just fucking, where do I put my signature?
Yeah.
And just get me in there.
Yeah, I was very similar.
So, I don't even know. I don't believe that the interest rate started off very high. It was a typical 30-year mortgage.
Yeah.
We actually had a 20% deposit, so our mortgage was not super duper high. But holy hell, if you look at what we're paying now, only 11 months later, you know, that hurts. But, you know, like, even with that being said, I guess realistically for my situation, all it hinders really is, you know, the amount of savings that we can actually contribute to.
Yeah.
So we used to have X amount of savings being put away. Now we have Y.
Yeah, I know. That's sort of like we used to have a lot of savings and stuff like that, and we just been whittling it away, putting it into the house, which has been good. Like, it's been really good. But when you look at the valuations and stuff on realestate.com, it's like, oh, my valuation hasn't changed. Like, you don't physically know what the house has gone up to until you get someone out to actually value it properly.
And even when you do get that, you know, new evaluation, really the market is going to tell the story.
People are only willing to pay what they want to pay for a house. Like, a lot of people now, like I know a lot of people that, like I personally service in regards to my business, they are pulling up stumps now. I'm like, fuck, you missed the boat. But then thinking about it, it's like, if you're selling in that market, you've got to buy in that market, unless you're really downgrading and going to a retirement village or something like that.
I think that is what is the most difficult out of anything, is that's true. Hey, you can make a bunch on that house, but you have to try and buy in that market. And if everything else is just bloody going through the roof the way that it is.
Well, rentals, like we've got friends, my wife's hairdresser, lovely lady, her and her family have just got a price rise of like $130-$140 a week. I'm like, holy fucking moly. Like,
there actually, I believe, don't quote me on this 100%, but I believe that there is actually new legislation coming into place.
Yeah. Well, it's a bit late now. It's all bait. Like,
yeah, I know, but 140, 190, anything over, to me, anything over a $70 a week increase in rent is disgusting. Well, and it should be illegal.
It's always been like maybe like a 5 or a 10 every lease.
Yeah,
and that's doable. But now it's like you're getting like $100 increase, even a $50 increase. That's a big chunk out of like someone's weekly budget if they're already struggling.
To me, it's disgusting. And
a fucking pensioner that is renting privately has got Buckley's chance, unless they have a really nice real estate or owner that are going to keep their prices low. But with interest rates going up, were you happy that they didn't put another one up? Apparently, they're supposed to stall and stay quite, at this level until Christmas, and then potentially drop a little bit, which is when I come off fucking our locked in.
Yeah.
So I'd like to see that happen, but.
Yeah, I mean, every time there's an interest rate rise, we actually put a little bit extra in to account for the next one.
Yeah, fair enough.
So we're sort of ahead, but it'll get to a point where you can only do so much.
Yeah.
So I guess we'll wait and see. In terms of a contractor, making, means, with the cost of living.
Yeah.
There is still all of this battery, you can offset like at least 20 litres of two-stroke a week with the impact of battery equipment.
Yeah, well, what's my fuel bill last month was like $2,000. Fucking hurt me.
I mean, look, the zero turns are going to kill contractors for a while yet, because I don't think the zero turn battery market is really there just yet.
No.
But mate, the handhelds, I mean, we know Husky is struggling with some batteries.
So still was as well.
And the brands are not necessarily perfect. There's just so much talk like, I'm going to keep my gas and my piston units are back in this. And look, to
be honest, there's a little bit of truth to that when you're looking for something like a Husqvarna or a Stihl and their batteries are unavailable. You probably would just go for another unit. So I kind of get some people that are on the petrol bandwagon, because if you can't get the batteries, there's no point in buying the fucking skins.
No, absolutely. But there's other brands to look at. I mean, look at Ego. Look at the new Bush Ranger stuff.
Yeah, they're all just gonna be, if they can keep batteries, fucking, they're winning. They got a winning combination. They got skins and batteries.
Yeah, and there are talks about people having issues with Ego batteries and stuff. I mean, like, what's a 5 amp battery go for? Is it like $200 and something bucks?
Yeah, something like that.
I mean, at the end of the day, like, that's a month worth of two-stroke fuel.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not saying that, hey, everyone just go out and continually buy batteries if one fucks out or whatever, but I don't think people need to fear it.
No.
I think that's one brand where they sort of kind of have a plethora. Like, they've really put themselves in the market, like, okay, everyone can have access to this stuff. We're going to be pumping this stuff out.
Yeah.
And now
Greenworks is infiltrating. I mean, I don't know how it works. Like, I haven't even mentioned it to anyone from Ego. Now Trade Tools has Ego and Greenworks.
Yeah, I mean, look,
have you seen that being pushed together?
I haven't seen it.
I don't know if the Greenworks is like a commercial spec stuff, but the Ego and Greenworks together, like, I don't know if they're going to be opposite sides of the store.
I think it hurts.
Look,
I think it's going to hurt ego.
Yeah.
It's great for the consumer.
Yeah,
because now, you as a consumer, you can walk in.
Yeah.
And you can see what's going to work for you.
Yeah. Now, cost of zero turns have obviously gone up. I haven't seen a huge cost increase on petrol handhelds. I've seen I might not have been noticing because it's not something I buy all the time, but because I deal a lot with Skag and people asking me about other brands and I'm comparing all the mowers all the time, I do get to see the other prices going up and things like that. So I haven't noticed the petrol handhelds or battery handhelds going up. I think they've stayed quite a stable price.
Battery skins, mate, they're fucking on point.
You reckon?
A battery skin for a snipper?
Yeah.
Like a skin, are they like $400 or $500 or something?
Yeah, well, I've got a steel combi and I went to get a new hedger attachment and it's fucking like $500.
But that's relative to any petrol unit.
Is it?
Yeah. Same attachment.
I just haven't bought one for a long time.
No, same attachment. I mean, they were like fucking $4.99 like 10 years ago.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah,
so that hasn't a lot of that stuff. But your servicing costs, I think, will surely go up. Your service and repair costs have gone up because the mower shops are in the same situation as us. They're like,
consumables have probably gone up too.
I'd say consumables gone up a little, yeah. And then, look, I think the main cost is your fuel cost.
Yeah.
Your main cost is your fuel cost. You've got to run your rig, you've got to run your zero turns, and you've got to run all your handhelds. And I know for me, I was just doing my head in, filling up everything at a servo. Like, if we're talking about time as money,
yeah,
and it was taking me half an hour to fill up everything at the servo, not to mention, when I rocked up at the servo, I was prepared. All my oil was in my two-stroke cans. All of my machines, and jerry cans and everything were all organised.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I just know that when we used to go to the 40 acres and we used to get there at, 4:30 in the morning, I was at the servo at 4.
Yeah.
So I do think, all of those things, they really start to add up.
Yeah, they really do. I bought all my oils in bulk, so I'm going to be out of touch for a while. I just bought 20 litres of everything.
Yeah, look, I think it's the smartest, one of the smartest things that you can do.
Yeah.
Buying in bulk.
Yeah.
Because all of these little 1 litre bottles, everything is going up. Same goes with all your herbicides, etc.
Yeah. A few herbicides are coming out of patent now, so there's been a few cheaper options popping up, which is pretty cool. I'll have to get some more info on that. I've seen a few cheapy ones rolling around, like some copies. So that'll be good. But realistically, I'm not going to lie, all of this stuff has impacted our business wholly and solely because we are a contracted business. We have contracts set, and it's not like I can halfway through the year go, we're going to raise our prices today because this has all happened. So I'm chomping at the bit because I've got a few contracts that are due to roll over in the oncoming months. So hopefully we can regain some of that stuff, because a 2-year contract, look at what's happened in the last 2 years.
I know, and it could be. You're right. And look, I think some advice that I would probably give to some contractors right now is, if you have to raise your prices, sometimes it's a little bit difficult. How do we go about this? If you can, raise your prices if you have to, but if you're doing regular quotes right now, really just get that cream on there to help offset what you have to increase on your regular run. Because, I do think if you were mowing a block for $60, and over the course of a season, all of a sudden that's at 80, it's really, to that paying customer, they're probably thinking fuck me, in the next year, if that's going to go up another 10, and then by the next season, you know what I mean? There are people that are going to provide this service for cheaper, and it doesn't matter about really the quality.
Yeah.
If there's a contractor that will do the job for 20 or 30% cheaper, and he's just that least little bit professional or that least little bit, not perfect, people are probably going to take it during the hard times.
It's a good time to start the hustle too, the mulch hustle and all those extra things like the pressure cleaning and things like that. I actually checked out the prices of mulch week before last because I like to have all my numbers written down so I can easily relay to a customer what's going on. Mulch has gone up a fair amount in the last year. So last year it was about 81 a cube, 82 a cube, something like that. The delivery fee has jumped up as well, but mulch was 80, so it was 80. Now it's fucking 112 to 118 depending where you go. So that's a pretty significant jump. Obviously it's due to like petrol and obviously everyone's cost of living has gone up. So that's one thing that I have noticed. So I actually have done quotes for some of my larger villages to do a rejuvenation program, and now I have to go back and tell them that I have to re-quote because the prices have gone up like quite significantly. And I think it could only be in the last sort of 3 or 4 months.
And mate, we talk about, like say your mulch jobs or auto mowers and, all the different bits and pieces. I'm still maintaining that the lawn painting industry.
Oh, you love it.
Mate, seriously, I see a huge market there for it.
Yeah.
It's just, it might be the algorithm, but it's really coming on strong on my Instagram with, not so much in Australia, more of an American thing.
Yeah.
But there's just not that many people that, I don't think it's necessarily something to specialize in. But I think if you can really get your rates, and I'm talking about your mixing rates, if you can get them looking very natural, and you can sort of perfect the art of doing it, because there are, you can't just go in there and just massacre something. Like my old lawn, when I used to hit the green cooch area to just give it a bit of a lift, like if there was leaves on it, like you'd spray the leaves and, you get a bit of green stuff on your leaf. Like there's ways that you can be better than others at doing it. But I tell you what, man, look, people vomit at the concept, and I don't know if they used it or if they just used it and they cooked it or what the case is, but when you put that stuff on and then you wait 24 hours, it looks like a beautiful green lawn.
Yeah.
I love it.
There was one you got that was a bit too blue for me, but then the second one you used was it was pretty spot on actually.
There was one that I felt look, I still think it looked great, but it was pretty gnarly. Like what the issue was in my situation was we had a whole lawn of palmetto, which is a buffalo, and that was holding its color beautifully. But then we had 30 or 40 square meters of up on a retaining section that was green cooch that would really yellow off.
Yeah. Not
like be in like full mad stress mode or anything, but it just wouldn't be as beautiful and lush. And so if you painted it, you needed a very natural green looking color rather than the high-tech more bluey color. So because it would just conflict a little bit too much with but have you ever seen like a really healthy blue cooch lawn compared to any other lawn? When they're very up close, the blue cooch, it's legit blue. Okay, so I think we just about had enough. Yeah,
don't forget Dale Packinen's event down there in Melbourne. You can find out all the details. He's posted a couple of times on LMCA. There's also the Gyms event coming up on the 22nd of May.
In Brisbane land.
In Brisbane.
In Brisbane.
If you want to come say good day to me at Dale's thing, I'll be more than happy to give you a cuddle and a kiss. And I hope to see heaps of people there. Like I said, Milwaukee door prizes. Fuck yeah.
Awesome. Well, until then, I'm at Cashbro. He's at TBL. We're out of time. Thank you.
Peace.